She left the divorce in silence and sad. Minutes later, she rode away in a prince's carriage. Before we begin this beautiful period romance story, tell me in the comments where you're listening from. I love knowing where you're joining me from. The courtroom did not need chains or shouting to feel severe. Its severity lived in the stillness, in the high-backed bench where the judge sat, in the straight rows of polished wood where strangers had found seats as if a woman's undoing were a public lecture, in the pale light that fell without warmth across the table where Anna Weber was told to place her hands. She kept them folded. She did not give them away to trembling. "State your name for the record," the clerk said, not unkindly, but without looking up. Anna lifted her chin just enough to make her voice carry. "Anna Weber." A pause. The clerk's pen scratched again. Then, as if a different name might appear if he waited, he asked, "Formally." The solicitor on the opposite side cleared his throat with a practiced gentleness. "Your Honor, the petitioner maintains the respondent's married name is appropriate for these proceedings." The judge's eyes moved to Anna. They were not cruel eyes, that was in its way worse. Cruelty could be fought, indifference could not. "Mrs. Weber," the judge said, "you understand the nature of today's hearing." "Yes, Your Honor. And you understand that, once signed and entered, this dissolution cannot be set aside by sentiment." "Yes, Your Honor, sentiment. As if marriage were a contract for household linens, as if a heart were merely a clause." Anna heard a woman behind her whisper, "She looks so calm." Another voice answered, "They always do, until they do not." Anna did not turn. If she turned, she might see faces she recognized. She might see pity disguised as moral instruction, or worse, satisfaction. The solicitor stood, a tall man with careful cuffs and careful words. He did not look at Anna when he spoke. He addressed the room as if she were a chair that had failed its purpose. "Your Honor," he began, "my client petitions for dissolution on grounds of irreconcilable incompatibility and the respondent's persistent refusal to fulfill the duties expected of a wife in her station." Anna's mouth tightened. He spoke as if the duties had been clear, as if the expectations had been gentle, as if her refusal had not been the last small corner she owned. The judge held up a hand. "We will keep to facts. Vienna is not a theatre." "Of course, Your Honor." The solicitor bowed his head with humility that did not reach his eyes. "The facts, then, are as follows. The respondent departed the marital residence on the 17th of February without permission, without her husband's knowledge of her destination, and without intention to return. Without permission." The words fell into the room like a stone into a well. She heard the small intake of breath near the back. She heard a chair creak. She had left at dawn. She had taken nothing but a small valise and the courage she was not certain she possessed. She had left a note. She had left the keys. She had left the last of her patients on the threshold. Without permission. The judge turned to her again. "Mrs. Weber, did you leave the marital residence on the 17th of February?" She could have argued. She could have explained. She could have said, "I left because I was lonely in a house full of people. I left because my husband spoke of me as an inconvenience. I left because when I asked for kindness, I was told to be grateful for the roof above my head." But the court did not ask why. It asked when. "Yes, Your Honor," she said. "And did you return?" "No, Your Honor." The solicitor nodded, pleased. A neat answer to a neat question. The judge's gaze lingered on her face, as if searching for some sign of hysteria that would confirm every crude belief about women. He found none. Anna had learned, long before that morning, that tears in public were treated like proof of guilt. "Do you contest the petition?" he asked. The room seemed to lean forward. Anna's fingers pressed together. She felt the faint tenderness where her wedding ring had been. Her ring sat now in a small cloth pouch in her reticule, not because she clung to it, but because she would not let her husband decide what became of it. It was hers to keep, hers to lay aside, hers to sell if she must. Even in humiliation she would choose something. "I do not contest it," she said. A murmur quickly stifled. The judge's brow lifted a fraction. "You do not contest it." "No, Your Honor." "And you understand the implications, your legal status, your name, your standing?" "Yes, Your Honor." The solicitor folded his hands as if in prayer. The judge made a note. "Very well, we proceed. On the other side of the table, Anna's husband finally shifted. He had been present, though silent, as if silence could keep his hands clean. He did not face her directly. He stared at the papers in front of him with the strained patience of a man forced to wait for a carriage. His name, when the clerk read it, sounded heavy in the room. Emil Weber, a merchant with a respectable address and a respectable income. A man who had once stood in a church and promised fidelity with a voice so sincere Anna had believed it. Now he did not offer her even the courtesy of her eyes. The judge addressed him. Herr Weber, you affirm the statements presented by your solicitor. I do, Emil said, and then, after a breath, Your Honor. Anna's throat tightened. That small correction, that slight show of respect to the bench was more than he had shown to her in months. The judge looked between them. Do you wish to say anything further, Herr Weber? Anything in the interest of fairness, of clarity, of decency? Emil's mouth pulled into a line. He glanced briefly at Anna at last. His eyes were not red. His face did not waver. If he felt shame, he hid it well. I wish, he said, to conclude this with dignity. A bitter laugh rose in Anna's chest. She swallowed it. Dignity to him meant control. Dignity meant she would not speak. Dignity meant he would leave the court with his reputation intact, while hers was parceled out like a cautionary tale. The judge nodded, as if that satisfied something. Mrs. Weber, do you wish to say anything? The room held its breath again. Anna could have spoken of cruelty without bruise, of a marriage that looked excellent on paper and hollow in the heart. She could have spoken of dinners where she was silenced, of decisions made for her, of letters opened before she could read them, of a life narrowed slowly until she could scarcely find herself within it. But she knew the word that would follow any confession, unseemly. So she chose the only truth the court would accept. I wish, she said, to conclude this with dignity as well, Your Honor. Emil's eyes flickered. A small surprise, a small annoyance. Perhaps he had hoped she would beg. The solicitor's lips pressed together just for a moment before he recovered his calm. The judge's face softened barely. Very well. The documents will be signed. A clerk stood and came around with papers. The inkstand was placed before Emil first. Emil signed in a firm hand. He did not hesitate. He did not pause as if to consider what he was undoing. He slid the paper back. It was carried to Anna. She took the pen. It felt heavier than it should. The clerk bent slightly, his voice low. Here, madam. Madam, not Frau, not wife, not anything with warmth. Anna set the pen to paper. The first stroke of her name was smooth. The second trembled. Her signature did not break, but the effort required to keep it whole felt like holding a door against a storm. When she finished, she placed the pen down with care, as if a careless sound might crack the fragile composure she had built around herself. The judge reviewed the papers. He stamped them. The sound was final. By the authority vested in this court, he said, the marriage between Anna Weber and Emil Weber is hereby dissolved. May both parties conduct themselves henceforth in a manner worthy of the society that will observe them. Observe them. Anna lifted her gaze. For a heartbeat she saw the faces in the benches. Some curious, some disapproving, some relieved it was not their daughter, their sister, their own life unraveling on a weekday morning. She stood. Her legs obeyed, though they felt distant. The chair behind her scraped as she stepped away. Emil remained seated, speaking in a low voice to his solicitor. There was no farewell, no nod, no acknowledgement that she had been his wife, that she had once laughed at his jokes, that she had once sewn a button on his coat with tenderness. Anna walked toward the exit. Her steps were measured, not too fast, not too slow. The art of leaving a room while everyone watched was one she had never wished to learn. As she reached the door, a voice called after her, Mrs. Weber. She froze. The title made her spine tighten. She turned halfway. The judge's expression remained neutral. You are free to go. Free. The word sounded different when spoken by a man who had never needed to be granted it. Anna inclined her head. Thank you, Your Honor. She stepped into the corridor. The air there felt thinner, as if the building itself refused to hold comfort for those who entered and left with diminished names. A woman in a pale bonnet stood with another, both pretending to adjust a glove. Their eyes followed Anna's movement. She didn't even cry, one murmured. She will cry later, the other replied, as if certain of it. Anna passed them without looking. At the bottom of the corridor, a man she recognized from Emile's business circle stood as if waiting for someone else. He looked at her, then away with the exaggerated innocence of a man afraid of being seen acknowledging her. It was astonishing how quickly a person could become contagious. Outside, the courthouse steps were crowded with people coming and going. A few clerks, a few petitioners, a few idle onlookers who had lingered in hopes of a scene. The sky was a dull grey, and Vienna moved on, because Vienna always moved on. Anna stood at the top of the steps and forced herself to breathe evenly. The streets below were busy enough to swallow her if she chose the right direction. She adjusted her reticule on her wrist. The cloth pouch inside it shifted. Her ring. The line on her finger felt exposed, as if even her skin had betrayed her. A carriage passed, then another. A man hurried by with papers tucked beneath his arm, nearly bumping her shoulder, and did not apologize. A woman in a fine coat glanced at Anna's face, then flicked her gaze away, as if the sight might offend her. Anna stepped down. The stone was cold beneath her soles. Her heel caught on the edge of a step. For a moment her balance wavered. A hand did not reach out to steady her. No one moved. She regained her footing and continued, her cheeks burning with the knowledge that even a stumble could be turned into a story. At the bottom of the steps she paused. Her lodging was across the city. The tram was crowded. She could walk. Walking would take time, and time would give the whispers more room to grow. Anna. The voice was soft, not familiar, not belonging to the courthouse. She did not turn at once. She had learned caution as a second language. "Madam," another voice corrected, older and sharper, "do not address her so freely." Anna turned then, because the exchange was close enough to be meant for her. A gentleman stood a few paces away, holding his hat in his hand as if he had removed it with intention, not out of habit. Beside him, a man older still, with the bearing of a household steward, watched the street with a guarded eye. The gentleman's clothing was impeccable. That was not unusual in Vienna, but his composure carried something else, the quiet certainty of a person accustomed to rooms opening for him. Anna's stomach tightened. She knew that posture. She had seen it once at a distance during a public procession. The set of the shoulders, the calm in the gaze, the way others unconsciously cleared space. Her breath caught. It could not be. The gentleman stepped closer, and the movement was smooth, controlled. He did not stare at her like an object. He looked at her as if he had been waiting for this moment, and did not wish to waste it. Behind him, at the curb, a carriage stood. Not a hired cab, not a merchant's conveyance. Its lacquer was deep and polished. The horses were groomed like sculptures. The coachman sat as still as a statue, reins held with practiced ease. Anna's hand tightened on her reticule. The gentleman inclined his head. "Frau Weber." The steward's mouth tightened as if he disapproved even of that. Anna's voice came out smaller than she intended. "Sir, I believe you are mistaken." "I am not," the gentleman said. He took a step nearer, just enough that she could see the fine line of a scar near his right brow, faint and old, more a detail than a story. His eyes were a clear grey, steady, attentive. Anna's heart struck once, hard. "Your Highness," she heard herself say, barely above a whisper. The steward shifted, as if relieved she understood the rules. The gentleman did not deny it. He did not confirm it with pride. He simply accepted the truth of what he was. "Prince Leopold von Habsburg," the steward said by way of confirmation, and then added in a lower voice, "Your Highness." Anna's mouth went dry. All at once she remembered every admonition she had ever heard. Do not draw notice. Do not invite questions. Do not accept favors you cannot repay. Above all, do not get too close to the court unless you are prepared to be used by it. Her gaze darted to the courthouse steps behind her. People were watching. Not many, but enough. A few heads had turned. A few eyes widened, sensing drama where there had been only quiet disgrace. Anna's cheeks burned again. But now it was not only humiliation. It was fear. Fear of being seen with him. Fear of what it would mean. Fear of the traps that often arrived dressed as kindness. She gathered her voice. "Your Highness, This is improper." The prince's expression did not change, but something in his gaze sharpened. as if he understood the danger better than she did. "You may think so," he replied, "and you may be right. Still, I am here." A man on the steps coughed pointedly. A woman's whisper drifted down, too faint to make out, but the tone was unmistakable. Anna felt herself shrinking under it, though she fought to keep her spine straight. "Your Highness," she said again, "I have just left in the court." The word felt like ash. "I should go quietly. Please." The prince did not move to block her path. That, too, was unsettling. If he had been forceful, she could have refused more easily. But he stood aside, giving her space, and spoke with quiet precision. "You have done quiet long enough." Anna blinked. The words were neither condemnation nor pity. They were an observation. Her throat tightened. "You do not know me." "I know what I saw," he said. The steward leaned closer, murmuring, "Your Highness, the street is not—" "I am aware," Leopold replied without turning his head. Anna's fingers pressed into her reticule until the leather creased. "What did you see?" she asked before she could stop herself. His gaze held hers. A woman who answered plainly when she was invited to plead. A woman who refused to give the room its entertainment. Anna's breath caught. She had not expected anyone to notice the effort it took to remain composed. Most people did not see composure. They only saw the absence of tears and called it coldness. She forced her voice steady. "If you saw that, Your Highness, then you saw enough. There is no need—" "There is," he said gently. The steward's jaw clenched, but he remained silent. Anna's eyes flicked toward the carriage again. It waited like a question she did not know how to answer. A man passing by slowed, pretending to adjust his coat. His glance lingered on Anna, then on the prince, and then darted away, as if he had touched something dangerous. Anna felt the world narrowing, not into a safe tunnel, but into a corridor of attention. The prince's presence made her more visible, not less. "My lodging is across the city," she said, as if stating it might resolve everything. "I can walk." "You can," Leopold agreed. His calm made her uneasy. "Then why—" He hesitated just a fraction. Not uncertainty. Something closer to restraint. "Because the court ended your marriage," he said. "It did not end the consequences, and consequences often find a woman first." Anna swallowed. "Are you warning me?" "I am offering you a way not to face them alone," he replied. The steward spoke, low and urgent. "Your Highness, people are looking." Leopold's eyes did not leave Anna's. They were looking before I arrived. Anna's chest tightened. He was right, and she hated that he was right. She drew a slow breath. "Your Highness, if you do this, if you are seen with me, you may invite gossip upon yourself." "I cannot understand why you would—" Leopold's mouth curved, not in amusement but in something like recognition. "You cannot afford to understand it in the street." Anna's hands shook once. She forced them still. A woman's laugh drifted from the steps, too bright to be kind. Anna turned her head slightly as if to gauge the crowd. Two men stood a little apart, watching. Not clerks, not petitioners. Their coats were fine, their posture alert, as if they had nothing to do but observe. Her stomach sank. Was she imagining it? Was she simply frightened enough to see danger where there was none? The prince followed her gaze. His expression tightened in the smallest way. The steward murmured, "Your Highness?" Leopold's voice remained calm. "Open the door." The steward hesitated. "Your Highness, perhaps we should—" "Now," Leopold said. The steward turned and signaled. The carriage door opened. Anna's breath caught again. The interior was lined with pale fabric, clean and quiet like another world entirely. The step down to it looked both inviting and treacherous. She shook her head. "I cannot." Leopold did not sigh. He did not plead. He simply took off his glove, as if the act had meaning, and held his bare hand slightly forward, palm open, offering help without demanding it. Anna stared at his hand. She thought of Emil's signature, firm and quick, and how he had not once looked at her while he wrote it. She thought of the judge's stamp. She thought of the whisper, "She will cry later." Perhaps she would, but not here. Not in front of strangers. Not in front of men waiting to watch her flinch. She lifted her eyes to Leopold's face. "If I accept," she whispered, "I will be talked about." Leopold's gaze was steady. "You are being talked about already. And if I refuse," she said, "I will be alone." He did not answer immediately, and that pause frightened her more than a quick reassurance would have. It told her he would not lie to make her step into his carriage. Finally he said, quietly, "Yes." A lump rose in her throat. She pressed it down. The city seemed to hold its breath with her. The courthouse behind, the street ahead, the carriage waiting. Anna's hand hovered near his, not touching yet. Her skin felt cold despite her gloves. Leopold's voice softened, but it did not lose its command. "Mrs. Weber, no, forgive me. Anna, will you come with me?" Anna did not place her hand in his at once. The space between their gloves felt like a gulf. People could cross oceans more easily than a woman could cross a street with a prince watching her. Leopold did not move closer. He waited, as if he understood that if she stepped forward, it must be her decision. Anna looked past him. The courthouse steps, the glances, the two men in fine coats who still lingered as if waiting for a misstep to collect. Her jaw tightened. She lifted her gloved hand and set it lightly in Leopold's bare one. His fingers closed around hers with care, not possession. He steadied her, guided her to the carriage step, and then released her before she could feel trapped. "Mind your skirt," the steward murmured, too low for anyone else to hear. Anna's cheeks flushed anyway. She lifted her hem a fraction and stepped inside. The door closed with a soft finality. Not a slam, not a threat. Still the sound pressed against her ribs. For a moment she sat very straight, as if posture might protect her from whatever she had just invited. Leopold took the seat opposite, leaving a deliberate space between them. He put his glove back on slowly as if to restore formality where it might soothe her. The carriage rolled forward. Anna's eyes moved to the window. Vienna slid by as if nothing had happened in the courthouse. Shops, people, a boy darting between two adults and laughing before he was scolded, an old man carrying bread tucked under his arm. Normal life, and she was no longer normal life. "You do not have to stare out as though the city will strike you," Leopold said gently. Anna answered without looking at him. "It might." A faint pause, and then his voice. "It has already tried." She turned then, unable to stop herself. "For your Highness, why did you do that? Why did you stop?" Leopold's gaze stayed steady. "Because you were walking as though you expected someone to push you." "I expected someone to laugh," she replied, then regretted the honesty. Leopold's expression did not soften into pity. It remained composed, which somehow felt kinder. "And did they?" he asked. "Not aloud," Anna said. "They are well bred." "Vienna is trained," Leopold replied. "It bites without showing its teeth." Anna drew a careful breath. "You speak as if you know it well." "I do," he said, "and I know what happens to a woman with no shield." Anna's fingers tightened on her reticule. "I am not your concern." His eyes flicked briefly to the pouch she guarded, as if it were a secret. "That ring." Anna's hand froze. "What of it?" "You keep it," he said, almost to himself. Most would have thrown it into the gutter the moment the ink dried. Anna's throat tightened. "I did not keep it out of affection." "I did not say you did," Leopold replied. Silence fell for a few heartbeats, broken by the wheels over stone. Anna heard herself ask, "Did you attend the hearing?" Leopold did not pretend otherwise. "Yes." "Why?" "Because I was told it would occur today." Anna stared. "Told by whom?" Leopold's jaw set, subtle. Someone who did not wish to be named in a public street. Anna's pulse kicked. She forced her voice calm. "So you came because you expected me to be, what, interesting, convenient?" Leopold's gaze did not waver. "I came because I expected you to be in danger of being treated like a lesson, and because I needed to see you with my own eyes." Anna's stomach turned. "Needed." He let the word stand for a moment and then said, "Yes." The carriage turned onto a broader avenue. Through the window, Anna saw the line of buildings, the order of the world she had once believed in. She had imagined herself safe within its rules. Those rules had pressed her down until she could hardly breathe. "I should not be here," she said. Leopold did not argue. "Tell me where you are staying." Anna hesitated. "Why?" "To ensure you arrive without being followed." The words made her blood run cold. She forced a small laugh that held no humor. "You think someone would follow me?" Leopold's voice lowered. "I saw two men outside the courthouse who were not there for the law. They were there for you." Anna's throat tightened. Perhaps they were there for someone else. Leopold's eyes narrowed slightly. Perhaps, and perhaps the world is kinder than it is. Anna looked away. She hated how easily fear took root in her. Yet it was not only fear. It was memory. The way Emil's tone had changed when he thought she might disobey. The way he had smiled in company and turned cold in private. The way certain conversations stopped when she entered a room. She had been made small more than once. She had learned to notice the hands that moved behind the curtain. "I am staying with a widow," Anna said at last. "Frau Kessler, in the Leopoldstadt district." Leopold nodded, as if the name meant something to him. "A respectable address. You know it?" "I know of her," he replied. "She has assisted women in difficult circumstances." Anna's eyes snapped back to him. "How would you know that?" Leopold's mouth tightened, almost an apology. "Because it is sometimes necessary to know where society sends its cast-offs." Anna flinched. "Cast-offs?" He lifted a hand, a small stop. "Not you. The word is societies, not mine." Anna's voice came sharp. "You speak as if you stand apart from society." Leopold's expression flickered, the smallest sign of weariness. "I stand at its center. That does not mean I am blind to it." Anna's hands trembled once. She pressed them into her lap. "If you are so aware, then you know what it looks like when a prince offers a divorced woman a carriage." Leopold's gaze held hers. "It looks like scandal." "Yes," she whispered. "And scandal is a stone they throw at women, not men." "I am aware," he said simply. The calm in his voice threatened her composure more than any flourish would have. She had been braced for arrogance. She had been braced for a man amused by his own power. Instead, she faced someone who spoke as if he had already counted the cost. Anna swallowed. "Then why pay it?" Leopold did not answer at once. The carriage passed a church, and the bells began to sound, slow and measured. He waited until the sound faded, and then said, "Because you have already paid more than you should." Anna's throat burned. She looked out the window again, blinking hard. After a moment, Leopold spoke again, shifting to practicalities as if to give her something solid. "I can arrange a solicitor," he said, "one who does not take instruction from your former husband." Anna's fingers curled. "I have little money for solicitors." "You have a right to certain provisions," Leopold replied, "and if your husband tries to avoid them, you will need someone with teeth." Anna's mouth tightened. "I thought you disliked biting." Leopold's eyes glinted briefly. "I dislike cruelty. I do not dislike firmness." Anna sat very still. "You speak as if you expect Emil to break the terms." "I expect him to do what benefits him," Leopold said. "That is not a moral judgment. It is an observation." Anna's voice softened unwillingly. "He will tell everyone I am unreasonable. He will say I am unstable. He will say I left because I could not fulfill my duties." Leopold's gaze sharpened. "Did you leave because you could not?" Anna heard the question beneath the question. Did she leave because she failed, or because she refused to be erased? She held Leopold's eyes and answered with a truth she rarely said aloud. "I left because I could not remain and still recognize myself." Leopold nodded once, as if he had expected that answer. "Then you did not fail." Anna exhaled, the sound almost breaking. "The court did not agree." "The court is not the soul," Leopold replied quietly. The carriage slowed briefly, then continued. Anna realized they had taken a route that avoided the busiest streets. Not hidden alleys, but a deliberate path of discretion. She turned back to him. "Where are we going?" Leopold's voice remained even. "Towards safety." "That is not an address," Anna said. "No," he agreed. "It is an intention." Anna's heart thudded. "Your Highness, I cannot go to the palace." Leopold looked at her, and for the first time his composure cracked into something like surprise. "I did not say you would." "You do not deny it," Anna replied. He leaned back slightly as if choosing his words. "You will not be brought to any place where you are displayed." "Then where?" she demanded, before fear could turn into panic. Leopold's eyes held hers. "To a private residence under my protection, a place where you can rest and think. Then when you decide what you want, you will go where you choose." Anna's laugh came out thin. "You make it sound easy." "It is not easy," he said. "It is necessary." The carriage rolled on. Anna's gaze returned to the window, but she could no longer see the city without imagining eyes behind curtains. Every passerby felt like a witness. Every corner felt like a place where a rumor could take shape. She heard Leopold shift slightly. When she looked back, he had removed a slim packet from an inner pocket. He did not offer it immediately. He held it as if weighing something. Anna's voice came out wary. "What is that?" Leopold met her gaze. "A letter." Anna's mouth went dry. "For whom?" "For you." She stared. "I have received no letter addressed to me in days." "I know," he said. Her chest tightened. "You know what letters I receive?" "No," Leopold replied, and then corrected himself with precision. "Not generally, only this one. It was delivered to my household this morning." Anna's fingers tightened around her reticule. "To your household, yes. Why would anyone send you a letter for me?" Leopold's expression grew more guarded. "Because the sender could not risk delivering it to your husband's house, and because the sender did not trust the post." Anna's voice sharpened. "And they trust a prince." "They trust that a prince's staff will follow instructions," Leopold said. "And they trust that my seal keeps idle hands away." Anna stared at him. "What instructions?" Leopold hesitated just long enough to make her stomach twist. "It was to be given to you only if the divorce was finalized." The words landed like a slap. Anna's breath caught. "Only if it was finalized?" Leopold nodded once. "Yes." Anna heard the rush of her own blood. "So someone expected it." Leopold's gaze turned inward, as if he hated what he was about to confirm. "Someone prepared for it." Anna's fingers went cold. "Prepared for my ruin." Leopold's eyes snapped back to hers. "Prepared for your freedom," he corrected, but his tone held no certainty. "Or prepared to use it. I do not know which. That is why the letter matters." Anna's voice trembled despite her efforts. "You have read it?" "No," Leopold said immediately. She narrowed her eyes. "You swear it?" "I swear it," he replied. "The seal is unbroken." He held it out then, letting her see it clearly. It was folded thick, the paper fine. The wax seal was a deep red, pressed with a crest. Anna's stomach turned because she recognized the shape, even if she did not know all its details. She had seen that kind of crest stamped on official notices, on invitations that arrived like commands, on documents that belonged to people whose names were spoken softly, court adjacent, power, danger. Anna stared at it. Her voice came out hoarse. "This is not from Frau Kessler." "No," Leopold said. "It is not from my mother," Anna whispered, even though her mother had been dead for years. Leopold's gaze sharpened at the word mother, then smoothed again. "No." Anna's fingers hovered in the air, not yet taking the letter. "If I accept it, I'm accepting whatever path someone has set." "You are accepting knowledge," Leopold replied. "The path is still yours." Anna's laugh came out like a broken sound. "It has not felt like mine for a long time." Leopold's voice softened. "Then let it begin to be." Anna's eyes stung. She blinked hard. "Why do you care what begins for me?" Leopold's jaw tightened. He looked briefly toward the opposite window, as if measuring the distance to something unseen, then returned his gaze to her. "I will not insult you with a false confession," he said quietly. "If you fear manipulation, you are wise to do so. I am not offering you a fairy tale. I am offering you a chance to stand on your own feet without being tripped." Anna's voice turned brittle. "And what do you receive in return?" Leopold's eyes did not flinch. "The truth." Anna stared. "The truth about what?" He exhaled slowly. "About something connected to you, something I have been trying to confirm, something that the people who enjoy controlling narratives do not wish spoken aloud." Anna felt her heartbeat in her throat. "You speak in riddles." "I speak in caution," Leopold replied, "because there are ears everywhere." "In the carriage?" she asked, suddenly alarmed. Leopold's mouth tightened. "Not here. But the moment you step out, the world listens again." Anna's hands shook. She forced them still and reached for the letter. Her glove brushed the wax and the crest pressed against her skin through the leather, cold and firm. She drew it back into her lap and stared at it as if it might burn a hole through her. Leopold watched her without pressing. The carriage turned again, more sharply this time. Anna gripped the seat. "Where are we now?" she demanded, her voice strained. Leopold answered evenly. A quieter route. We will not stop where you can be easily approached. Approached by whom? Anna asked. Leopold's gaze slid briefly to the window. By those two men, if they are indeed connected to your husband's affairs, or by anyone else with interest. Anna's skin went cold. You believe Emile would send someone to watch me? Leopold did not look pleased to say it. It is possible he would send someone to ensure you do not speak to the wrong person. Anna's voice rose, then caught itself. I have spoken to no one. Not yet, Leopold replied. Anna pressed her lips together. Then perhaps you should let me out. If being with you draws attention. It draws attention, he agreed, cutting through her sentence with calm honesty. But it also discourages certain boldness. Anna stared at him. You mean they will not approach if they think you will notice? Yes, Leopold said. It is unpleasant, but true. Anna swallowed. So I am in your carriage as a shield. Leopold's gaze held hers. As a shield you chose, I offered, you accepted. The words should have comforted her. Instead, they reminded her of the weight of choice. Every step now mattered more because it was visible. Anna looked down at the letter again. Who would know the divorce would be finalized, she asked. Leopold's voice turned careful. Anyone with access to schedules. Anyone who knew your husband's intention. Anyone who knows how quickly such matters move when one party does not contest. Anna's mouth tightened. So anyone connected to Emile? Perhaps, Leopold replied. Anna's fingers pressed into the paper. Or anyone connected to you. Leopold did not deny it. He simply said, That is why you must read it. Anna's breath shook. Not now. Leopold's brows lifted slightly. Not now. Anna's voice came out sharp with fear she refused to name. Not while the carriage moves. Not while my hands shake. Not while your eyes are on me. Leopold's gaze softened, but he did not look away. Very well. When you are ready. Anna stared at him, searching for the trap. You are too calm. He gave a small, almost tired breath. If I lose calm, you will lose it with me. Anna's throat tightened. She turned the letter over. The handwriting on the front was elegant and unfamiliar. Anna Weber, no title, no married designation, just her name, plain as a truth. That alone unsettled her. Leopold spoke as if reading her expression. It addressed you as yourself. Anna's voice came out thin. Perhaps whoever wrote it wishes to remind me I no longer belong anywhere. Leopold's jaw tightened. Or perhaps they wish to remind you that you have always belonged to yourself. Anna looked up quickly. You speak as if you have been rehearsing these answers. He met her gaze. I have had time to think about what I would say if I met you. The words struck her. So you did intend to meet me? Leopold did not flinch. Yes. Anna's pulse jumped. You planned it. I planned to be present, he replied. I did not plan the precise moment. I did not plan the crowd. And I did not plan to feel anger on your behalf. Anna stared. Anger? Leopold's voice lowered. At how easily they reduced you. At how eagerly they waited for you to provide them with spectacle. Anna's mouth tightened. And you wish to rescue me? Leopold's gaze sharpened again. No. The firmness surprised her. I do not want you to be rescued, he said. I want you to be informed. Anna frowned. That is a strange desire. Leopold's expression held something unreadable. It is a necessary one. The carriage slowed, then stopped. Anna's body tensed. Where are we? She asked. Leopold leaned slightly toward the window, then sat back. A private courtyard. We will change horses quickly and continue. Anna's voice rose. Change horses. Are we going far? Leopold answered with quiet certainty. Far enough. Anna's fingers clenched around the letter. Your Highness, you said I would choose where I go. You will, he replied immediately. But first, you will be out of sight. Then you will choose without eyes pressing on you. Anna's breath caught. And if I choose to leave? Leopold nodded once. Then you leave. And if I choose to return to Frau Kessler's? Then I will ensure you arrive there safely, he said. Anna stared. You will let me walk away. Leopold's gaze held hers. I will not imprison you in kindness. The phrase struck her like a blow because she had been imprisoned in politeness before. She had been trapped by the very rules that were supposed to protect her. The door opened. A groom's voice murmured respectfully. The horses shifted. Leopold did not get out. He remained seated, giving Anna privacy from the courtyard while his staff worked. Anna's hands trembled again. She could not wait any longer. She slid a finger beneath the flap of the envelope. The wax was firm. Her breath held. Leopold watched, silent, as if he understood this was a moment she had to enter alone. Anna broke the seal. The wax cracked softly. Her stomach lurched. She unfolded the paper with careful hands that did not feel careful at all. The script inside was steady, elegant, and mercilessly direct. Her eyes moved to the first line. The world seemed to tilt. Anna read it once, then again, as if her mind refused to accept the words. Her face went pale, her fingers tightening on the page, because it began. "Anna Weber, you have been lied to since childhood. Tonight you will learn why." Anna's eyes stayed on the page until the ink blurred. She drew a slow breath through her nose and forced herself to read the next lines, but her mind snagged on the first sentence, as if it were a hook. Lied to since childhood. Her fingers tightened until the paper creased. Leopold spoke softly. "What does it say?" Anna's voice came out thin. "It says I have been lied to." Leopold did not press her to read aloud. "Does it name the liar?" Anna's eyes moved again, scanning, trying to catch meaning without letting it cut too deep. "It speaks of my mother," she whispered. Leopold's gaze sharpened, but he kept his tone level. "Read that part." Anna swallowed. "No." Leopold accepted the refusal with a small nod. "All right. Tell me only this. Does it instruct you to meet someone?" Anna hesitated, then read the next line carefully because it felt like stepping onto ice. "It says, I must come to a place tonight," she said, "if I want the truth." "And does it name the place?" Anna's mouth went dry. "It says, the palace." The carriage seemed suddenly too quiet. Leopold's expression did not change, but something in his eyes turned harder, as if an old suspicion had been confirmed. Anna looked up sharply. "You knew." "No," he said immediately. She stared at him. "Do not lie to me now." "I am not," Leopold replied, steady. "I knew the letter concerned something close to court. I did not know it would name the palace itself." Anna's breath came fast. "Then why are you not surprised?" Leopold's gaze held hers. "Because I have been expecting the truth to lead there." Anna's fingers trembled on the paper. "Expecting it? For whom? For me?" Leopold's mouth tightened. "For you, yes." Anna let out a short, disbelieving laugh. "You speak as if this has been waiting." "It has," he said quietly. Anna looked down at the letter again, hunting for some clue that would make it less impossible. The words were precise, not poetic, not sentimental. Someone had written them to be obeyed. Tonight. The palace. Bring no one you do not trust. Speak to no one who claims authority without proof. Anna's chest tightened. "It orders me." "It warns you," Leopold corrected. Anna's gaze snapped back up. "What is the difference?" "The difference is that you can refuse," he said. Anna lifted the paper slightly. "Can I?" Leopold answered without hesitation. "Yes." Anna's laugh broke again, and this time it almost became a sob. She swallowed hard and forced it back into her throat. "You say that," she whispered, "but you are a prince. You can refuse many things." Leopold's eyes softened, but he did not look away. "I can refuse less than you think." Anna stared at him. "Then why have you done this? Why have you placed yourself in the middle of it?" Leopold's jaw tightened. "Because someone else already has." The carriage moved again. The change of horses had been swift. Now the wheels rolled over smoother stone, and Anna realized they were leaving the common streets behind, heading toward a part of the city where facades grew more formal and guards stood more often. She pressed her hand to the window frame as if it might steady her thoughts. "I cannot go to the palace," she said more firmly. "Not tonight, not ever. I am divorced. I am marked." Leopold's voice stayed calm. "That is precisely why you must not go alone." Anna turned on him. "You mean you will take me?" "I mean I will accompany you to the threshold," he said, "and I will ensure you are not handled like an inconvenience." Anna's throat tightened. Handled. Leopold's gaze held hers. "You know what I mean." She did. She had been handled at the courthouse, questioned and recorded and dismissed. Anna clutched the letter. If this is some scheme, if someone is using me, then we will know, Leopold said, and you will decide what to do with that knowledge. Anna's voice rose, then steadied with effort. You keep saying that. You will decide, you will choose, as if choice is a gift you can hand to me. Leopold's expression tightened, not with anger, but with something like frustration at the world. Choice is not a gift, it is a right. And I will not pretend you have been treated as if you possess it. Anna's eyes stung again. She blinked hard. This letter, it mentions my mother. Leopold's gaze sharpened. Does it mention her by name? Yes, Anna whispered. Elise. Leopold nodded once, very slowly, as if the name settled something inside him. Elise Weber. Anna's mouth tightened. Elise Brandt. Before she married my father. Leopold's eyes flicked, just a fraction. Brandt. Anna's stomach dropped. You know it. Leopold did not deny it. I know of it. How? Anna demanded. Leopold's voice lowered. Because Elise Brandt served in a household connected to the imperial court. Anna stared at him. My mother was a seamstress. She was, Leopold said, and seamstresses at court hear and see much more than society likes to admit. Anna's breath caught. My mother never spoke of it. Leopold's gaze held hers. If she left under difficult circumstances, she may have been warned not to. Anna gripped the letter harder. Warned by whom? Leopold's mouth tightened. By those who prefer silence. Anna shook her head. This is madness. My mother lived quietly. She died quietly. There was nothing dramatic. Leopold's eyes softened. Sometimes the most dramatic things are hidden precisely because they must remain quiet. Anna looked away, and her voice turned brittle. You speak as if you read too many palace stories. Leopold's reply was simple. I live in the palace. The words made her stomach twist. She had been so focused on her own ruin that she had almost forgotten what it meant to sit in a carriage with a man who belonged to the center of power. She forced her chin up. If you take me there, you will be seen. I am always seen, Leopold said. And I will be judged, she whispered. Leopold's gaze sharpened. You are already judged. Anna's fingers loosened slightly on the paper. She folded it again, carefully, as if neatness might keep her life from unraveling further. The carriage slowed again, and this time it did not stop in a common courtyard. It passed through an archway guarded by men who did not stare, but noticed everything. Anna's pulse jumped. She sat straighter, her hands suddenly too conspicuous in her lap. Your Highness, she whispered. Where are we? Leopold's voice stayed calm. A service entrance. Anna's eyes widened. To what? To the palace grounds, he replied. Her breath caught. Already? Yes. Anna's fingers tightened on her reticule until it creaked. You said you would take me to a private residence. Leopold met her gaze. Within the palace complex there are private residences, not public halls, not ceremonial rooms. Anna stared as the carriage rolled across a quiet stone path. There were no crowds here, no gawking faces, only order and silence. She forced her voice steady. This is still the palace. Leopold nodded. Yes. Anna's chest tightened. If someone wished to ruin me further, this is the perfect place. Leopold's expression turned very controlled. Then we will not give them the opportunity. The carriage stopped beneath a covered entrance that looked designed for discretion. The door opened, and a man in sober livery stood ready. Your Highness, he murmured, bowing. Leopold stepped out first and offered his hand again. This time Anna took it without hesitation, because the ground felt less steady than her pride. She stepped down, and the air here felt cooler, quieter, as if sound itself obeyed rules. A woman approached at once, not young, not old, dressed plainly, but with unmistakable authority. Her hair was pinned with precision. Her face held no curiosity, only control. Your Highness, she said, and then her gaze shifted to Anna in a single assessing glance. Madam, Anna's throat tightened. She did not know whether to curtsy, to nod, to retreat. Leopold spoke first. This is Frau von Riedel. The woman gave a small, exact inclination of her head. I oversee this household. Anna swallowed. I see. Frau von Riedel's eyes lingered on Anna's dress, on her reticule, on her face. Not with disdain, with calculation, as if placing Anna correctly in a system of etiquette. Your Highness, Frau von Riedel said, the apartments are prepared. Leopold nodded. Thank you. Anna's voice came out strained. Apartments. Leopold looked at her. A sitting room and a bedchamber. You will have privacy. Anna wanted to say, I do not belong here, but her voice failed. Frau von Riedel turned, and Anna realized she was expected to follow. Leopold walked at Anna's side, not ahead, not behind. They passed along a corridor that was quiet enough to hear the soft sound of their steps. Servants moved with practiced silence, eyes lowered, faces unreadable. Anna kept her gaze forward, but her awareness sharpened painfully. Every person here had been trained to notice without seeming to notice. Frau von Riedel opened a door. Madam. Anna stepped into a small suite that felt too orderly to be real. A simple sitting room, a small table already set with tea, a fire laid in the hearth, a vase of flowers that looked placed to reassure, not to decorate. Leopold gestured gently. Sit, if you wish. Anna remained standing, clutching her reticule. I do not understand what is happening. Leopold's voice softened. You are safe for the moment. Anna's laugh was sharp. Safe in the palace. Frau von Riedel's mouth tightened slightly, but her tone stayed polite. The palace contains many households, madam. Not every door leads to a ballroom. Anna stared at her, then back at Leopold. You arranged this? Leopold nodded. I asked for rooms that would not draw attention. Anna's hands trembled. And you were granted them. Leopold's gaze held hers. Yes. Anna's voice rose, then steadied with effort. Because you are who you are. Leopold's expression tightened. Because I am responsible for what I bring into my sphere. Anna felt heat rise behind her eyes. She fought it. Frau von Riedel spoke again, practical. Madam may require a maid. Anna shook her head too quickly. No. Leopold's gaze softened. You may refuse assistance, but do not refuse comfort out of pride. Anna's voice cracked. Pride is all I have left. Leopold's eyes held hers, and something quiet passed between them. Not romance, not yet. Something closer to recognition. He nodded slightly. Then keep it. But allow yourself tea. Anna hesitated, then finally set her reticule on the table, as if placing it down might lighten her chest. She did not sit immediately. She moved like someone unsure whether the floor belonged to her. Frau von Riedel poured tea with swift competence. Madam, take sugar? Anna's mouth tightened. No. Frau von Riedel set the cup down and stepped back. I will remain outside the door should you require anything. Leopold glanced at her. Thank you. Frau von Riedel left, closing the door with quiet precision. Anna exhaled, as if she had been holding her breath the entire time. Leopold remained near the door, not approaching, giving her space. Anna stared at the tea as if it might accuse her. If anyone knew I was here. Leopold's voice stayed calm. Few will. This entrance is used for household matters, not for society. Anna's eyes narrowed. And the letter said tonight. Leopold nodded once. Yes. Anna reached into her reticule and pulled out the folded letter again. She looked at it as if it might change. It says, to come alone, she murmured. Leopold's gaze sharpened. Does it? Anna read the line again, silently, then nodded. It says, bring no one you do not trust. Speak to no one who claims authority without proof. Leopold's mouth tightened. Then, it expects you to be approached. Anna's throat tightened. Or tested. Leopold nodded slowly. Yes, Anna looked up. Is this about money? Leopold's expression did not change, but his tone sharpened. It may involve money, but not in the way you mean. Anna's eyes narrowed. Then what way? Leopold hesitated. The hesitation felt heavy with restraint. Anna's voice turned brittle. If you know something, say it. Leopold met her gaze. I know that your mother's name appears in a sealed register that should not include her. Anna's breath caught. A register. Leopold nodded. A record of service, of loyalty oaths, of charitable endowments. Anna stared. My mother took no oaths. She sewed dresses. She may have sewn for someone important, Leopold replied. Anna shook her head, refusing the possibility. She was not important. Leopold's voice softened. You are still thinking as society taught you. That importance is only titles and jewels. A seamstress in the right room can be more important than a countess at dinner. Anna's fingers tightened on the letter. And you have been searching for me because of that register. Leopold did not deny it. Yes. The honesty startled her. And why would you search? Anna demanded. Why would it matter to you? Leopold's gaze held hers. Because there are people within the palace who use silence like a weapon. They hide mistakes, they hide debts, they hide cruelty disguised as propriety. And sometimes those hidden things surface when someone least expects it. Anna's voice trembled. You speak as if my mother's life was some hidden thing. Leopold's tone stayed careful. It may have been made hidden. Anna stared at him, searching his face for a sign of manipulation. And you wish to reveal it? Leopold nodded. If it concerns you, yes. Anna's throat tightened. So your interest is not kindness. Leopold's expression did not flinch. No. Anna's voice rose with sudden anger. Then what is it? Leopold answered plainly. Duty. The word landed like a stone. Anna's hands shook. Duty to whom? Leopold's gaze held hers. To the truth. And to the people harmed by what was hidden. Anna swallowed. And I am a tool. Leopold's eyes sharpened. No. Anna's laugh was sharp. Then what am I to you? Leopold's jaw tightened. For a moment he looked as if he might refuse to answer. Then he said very quietly, You are the person who can decide whether the truth is spoken or buried. Anna stared at him, stunned into silence. Leopold stepped closer by a pace, stopping well before he invaded her space. I will not force you, but I will be honest. I did not stop that carriage purely out of spontaneous charity. I stopped because I recognized something in your name, and because I suspected you were being pushed into a corner without knowing why. Anna's fingers pressed hard into the paper. Recognized something? Leopold nodded. Brandt. Anna's breath caught again. My mother's name. Yes, Leopold said. Anna's voice turned low. You said it appears in a sealed register that should not include her. Why should it not include her? Leopold's gaze did not waver. Because the register is reserved for those tied to a specific endowment. An endowment created to support widows and children of court servants. It was meant to be charitable. It became manipulated. Anna stared. Manipulated by whom? Leopold's mouth tightened. By people who can make paper say what they want. People who move funds. People who decide who deserves help and who deserves silence. Anna's chest tightened. And my mother, Leopold spoke softly. Your mother may have seen something, or refused to look away from something, and if she did, she may have been pushed out and warned into silence, or paid for her silence. Anna shook her head. No, Leopold's voice did not rise. You do not have to accept it yet. Anna's hands trembled. Then why tell me at all? Why not simply bring me here and present me to whoever wrote this letter? Leopold's gaze grew more intense. Because whoever wrote it may not be your ally. Anna's stomach dropped. Then why trust it? Leopold's jaw tightened. Because it may be your only chance to learn why your divorce was hurried, and why certain eyes followed you out of court. Anna froze. You believe my divorce was arranged. Leopold's voice stayed careful. I believe it was encouraged. Anna's mind flashed to Emile's sudden insistence. The speed, the cold certainty that it would be granted if she did not contest. The way he had seemed almost relieved as the judge stamped the papers. She whispered, Why would anyone care if I am divorced? Leopold's gaze held hers. Because a married woman is contained. A divorced woman is unanchored, easier to pressure, easier to discredit. Anna felt her breath turn thin. Pressure me into what? Leopold's expression tightened. Into signing something you have not seen. Into withdrawing a claim you do not know you have. Into becoming quiet again. Anna's throat tightened. What claim? Leopold did not answer directly. Read the rest of the letter. Anna looked down at it again. Her fingers shook as she unfolded it. The lines were short, almost brisk. It referenced Elise Brandt and a position at court. It referenced a particular household, identified only by initials. It mentioned a token Elise had been told to keep safe. It instructed Anna to bring any object belonging to Elise that carried a crest or a seal. Anna's breath caught. She remembered suddenly a small box in her mother's trunk, wrapped in cloth, never opened in front of anyone. Anna had been told when she was young that it held sentimental scraps. Sentimental. Always sentimental. Always harmless. Anna's voice turned hoarse. It asks for something of hers. Leopold's gaze sharpened. A token. Anna nodded, stunned. It says if I bring it I will be shown proof. Leopold's mouth tightened. And if you do not? Anna read the last line slowly. Her blood ran cold. It says, she whispered, that if I do not come, I will remain safe only as long as I remain silent. Leopold's eyes hardened. A threat disguised as counsel. Anna's fingers trembled so violently she had to set the letter down. This is not kindness. This is coercion. Leopold nodded once. Yes. Anna's voice broke. Then why are you still calm? Leopold's reply was immediate. Because panic helps the people who wrote that. Anna pressed a hand to her throat, trying to steady her breath. You cannot protect me from everything in this place. Leopold's gaze held hers. No. The honesty hit her again. But I can protect you from being alone, he added. Anna's eyes stung. Why? Leopold hesitated, and in that pause, she saw the strain beneath his control. Then he said quietly, Because I have watched women be dismissed with polite smiles and I am tired of it. Anna stared at him, searching his face for performance. She found none, only something steady and dangerous in its steadiness, because it suggested conviction. A soft knock sounded at the door. Leopold's posture changed instantly, becoming more formal. Yes? The door opened, and Frau von Riedel stepped inside. Your Highness, she said, forgive the interruption. Leopold's tone remained calm. What is it? Frau von Riedel's eyes flicked to Anna, then away, as if she had been trained not to stare too long at what might become scandal. A message has arrived. Leopold's jaw tightened. From whom? Frau von Riedel's voice lowered. From Her Serene Highness. Anna's breath caught. Leopold did not react outwardly, but the air in the room changed. Frau von Riedel continued, careful. She requests an immediate audience with the lady. Anna's heart lurched. With me? Frau von Riedel inclined her head. Yes, madam. Anna's mouth went dry. I cannot. I am not appropriate. Leopold stepped forward slightly. You will not be alone. Frau von Riedel's lips tightened. Your Highness, the request is precise. Leopold's gaze sharpened. Meaning? Frau von Riedel lowered her voice further. Her Serene Highness wishes to receive Anna Weber privately. Anna felt her knees go weak. She gripped the edge of the table. Leopold's eyes narrowed. She used that name. Frau von Riedel nodded. She did. Anna's voice trembled. Who is she? Frau von Riedel's tone remained polite, but it carried weight. An imperial relative with the authority to make your presence here either tolerable or impossible. Anna swallowed hard. So this is the proof. This is the truth. Leopold looked at Anna, and his voice softened. It may be a test. Anna's hands trembled. A test of what? Leopold answered quietly. Of whether you will be frightened into obedience. Anna's eyes stung. I have already been frightened into silence. Leopold's gaze held hers. Not today. Frau von Riedel cleared her throat, delicate but firm. Your Highness, with respect, the palace does not host surprises without consequence. Anna's chest tightened. I knew it. Leopold's voice stayed calm. Frau von Riedel, inform Her Serene Highness that we will come. Anna stared at him. We? Frau von Riedel's expression tightened. Your Highness, Leopold's gaze flicked to her. If she insists on privacy, I will wait outside the door, but Anna will not walk the corridor alone. Anna's throat tightened at hearing her name on his tongue again, spoken plainly without scorn. Frau von Riedel hesitated, then nodded. As you wish. Anna's voice came out small. Your Highness, Leopold turned to her fully. You do not have to answer every demand with surrender. Anna's hands clenched. And if I refuse to see her? Leopold's mouth tightened. Then you may lose the chance to control the narrative, and the palace will create one for you. Anna swallowed. She hated how true it sounded. Frau von Riedel stepped toward the door again, then paused, looking back at Leopold with something like restrained warning. Your Highness, she said carefully, I must speak plainly. Leopold's gaze sharpened. Do. Frau von Riedel's voice dropped to a low, controlled tone, meant to sound polite even as it carried steel. If your Highness thinks he can shelter her from court opinion, he underestimates it. Leopold did not answer Frau von Riedel at once. He held her gaze with a calm that looked almost like indifference, though Anna could see it was control. Then he said, I do not underestimate it. I refuse to bow to it. Frau von Riedel inclined her head, but her mouth tightened. As you wish, your Highness. Anna's fingers dug into the edge of the table. I should not go. Leopold turned to her. You should not go alone. You will not. That is not the same as being safe, Anna said. No, he replied, but it is the same as being defended. Anna's breath caught on the word defended. She had defended herself for so long that hearing it offered by another felt unfamiliar, almost unbearable. Frau von Riedel stepped aside and opened the door. This way. The corridor outside was quiet, but the quiet did not comfort Anna. It felt supervised. She walked with her shoulders straight, her reticule held close, her letter folded inside like a living thing. Leopold stayed at her side. Not touching, not hovering. Simply there, a presence that made servants' eyes drop and footsteps soften. Anna whispered as they walked, If she asks me questions, what do I say? Leopold's voice was low. You say what is true and necessary, nothing more. And if she demands I leave? Anna asked. Then we will discuss where you go next, he replied. Anna's throat tightened. We. Leopold looked at her, his gaze steady. Yes, we, until you tell me otherwise. They turned a corner, and Frau von Riedel stopped before a door guarded by etiquette rather than soldiers. A footman stood nearby, perfectly still. Frau von Riedel announced them quietly. A voice from inside responded, calm and controlled. Send her in. Anna's heart jolted. Her. Frau von Riedel looked at Leopold, as if reminding him of the demand. Leopold leaned toward Anna, speaking softly. I will be just outside. Anna's voice came out thin. If I call for you, you will not have to call, he said, and there was no boasting in it, only certainty. The door opened. Anna stepped into a sitting room that felt severe in its order, not grand, not welcoming. A room designed for judgment, delivered politely. An older woman sat near a small table, hands folded as if she had been waiting a long time, though she looked as if she had never waited for anything in her life. She wore a gown of perfect simplicity, and the simplicity itself spoke of authority. Her gaze landed on Anna and did not flicker away. Anna Weber, the woman said, come closer. Anna's feet moved because refusing felt like falling. She made a small curtsy, careful and correct. The woman watched the curtsy as if measuring it. You learned manners. My mother insisted, Anna said before she could stop herself. A faint, unreadable expression crossed the woman's face at the word mother. Your mother insisted on many things. Anna's breath caught. You knew her. The woman did not answer directly. You may address me as Her Serene Highness. Anna's throat tightened. Yes, Your Serene Highness. The woman's eyes remained on Anna's face. You have been divorced today. Anna held herself still. Yes, Your Serene Highness. No tears, the woman observed. Anna swallowed. Tears would have pleased the wrong people. A pause. Then, to Anna's surprise, the woman gave a slight nod, as if that answer met a standard. You understand the nature of observation, Her Serene Highness said. Good. Anna's hands trembled inside her gloves. Why have I been summoned? Her Serene Highness leaned back slightly. Because you are in the palace. Anna's throat tightened. I did not seek it. And yet, the woman said, here you are. Anna forced herself to speak plainly. Prince Leopold brought me here because I received a letter that instructed me to come. Her Serene Highness's gaze sharpened. A letter? Anna nodded. Yes, Your Serene Highness. From whom? The woman asked. Anna hesitated, then answered honestly. I do not know. Her Serene Highness's eyes narrowed slightly. Convenient. Anna's cheeks warmed. It is not convenient. It is frightening. Her Serene Highness regarded her for a long moment. Fright can be useful. It clarifies priorities. Sit. Anna sat on the edge of the chair offered, spine straight. Her Serene Highness spoke without raising her voice. There are rules in this place, Anna Weber. not written in law books, written in glances, in invitations, in what is permitted to be said aloud. Prince Leopold is capable of defying some rules. You are not. Anna's mouth went dry. Then I should leave. Her Serene Highness's gaze held hers. Perhaps, but if you leave without understanding why you were brought into this, you will carry your danger with you like a ribbon pinned to your dress. Anna's fingers tightened. So I was brought into something. Her Serene Highness did not deny it. Yes. Anna's voice trembled. Something about my mother. The woman's eyes remained steady. Elise Brandt. Anna's breath caught. Hearing her mother's maiden name in that room felt like hearing a private prayer spoken loudly. Yes, Anna whispered. Her Serene Highness folded her hands more tightly. Your mother served in a household attached to court charity. Anna heard herself ask, did she serve you? Her Serene Highness's gaze flickered. Not me, but near enough. Anna swallowed. She never spoke of it, because she was instructed not to, Her Serene Highness said, and because she was wise enough to obey. Anna's throat tightened. Wise. Her Serene Highness's voice stayed level. She had a child. She wanted that child to live without palace shadows. Anna's eyes stung. And yet, the shadows found me. Her Serene Highness's expression did not change, but her tone softened by a fraction. Because someone is stirring old papers. Anna drew a careful breath. Who? Her Serene Highness looked at Anna as if weighing whether she deserved a name. There are men who pride themselves on being respectable. They sit on committees. They attend charitable events. They sign documents that make them appear generous. They also know how to move funds quietly. Anna's chest tightened. Funds. Her Serene Highness nodded. An endowment. Established with good intentions. Corrupted by clever hands. Anna's voice turned hoarse. What does it have to do with me? Her Serene Highness's gaze sharpened again. Your mother was listed as a beneficiary. Anna blinked. A beneficiary? She was not wealthy. She struggled. Exactly, the woman said. She should have received support after she was dismissed. Instead, she received silence and a small sum that disappeared quickly. Meanwhile, others profited. Anna's hands trembled. Are you saying my mother was cheated? Her Serene Highness's tone remained controlled. I am saying your mother was used. Anna's breath caught and broke. She looked down quickly, willing her eyes not to betray her. Her Serene Highness continued. If someone is reopening this matter now, it is because they fear exposure or because they intend to control it before it controls them. Anna whispered, and I am the control. You are a variable, Her Serene Highness corrected. An inconvenient one. Anna lifted her gaze. Then why summon me? Why not remove me? Her Serene Highness leaned forward slightly, eyes sharp. Because I am not interested in removing you. I am interested in preventing a spectacle. Anna's mouth tightened. My life has already been a spectacle. Her Serene Highness studied her. It does not have to be one here. Anna hesitated, then reached into her reticule and pulled out the letter, keeping it folded. This instructed me to come tonight. Her Serene Highness's gaze dropped to the paper. And you believed it. Anna's voice was quiet. Because it named my mother. A pause. Then Her Serene Highness said, Give it to me. Anna froze. No. The refusal came out before Anna could temper it. Her Serene Highness's brows lifted slightly. No. Anna's fingers tightened on the letter. It is addressed to me. Her Serene Highness's voice remained calm, but colder. You are in the palace. Do you understand what that means? Anna's throat tightened. It means I am expected to surrender everything that is mine. A long silence. Then, unexpectedly, Her Serene Highness's mouth curved in the faintest echo of approval. It means, the woman said, that you must learn where to hold and where to yield. You have held. Interesting. Anna's breath came shallow. If you take it, I will never see it again. I have no need to keep your letter, Her Serene Highness said. I have need to know who wrote it. Anna's voice turned tight. And you cannot know without taking it. Her Serene Highness's eyes narrowed slightly. Read it to me. Anna blinked. Now? Now, the woman replied. Anna swallowed hard and unfolded the letter with hands that felt too loud in the quiet room. She read carefully, line by line, and the room seemed to grow colder as the instructions revealed themselves. The warning about coming alone, the caution against false authority, the demand to bring a token connected to Elise Brandt, the promise of proof, the final line about safety and silence. When Anna finished, she looked up. Her Serene Highness's gaze was hard, but not shocked. "Yes," she said quietly. "A test." Anna's voice trembled. "A test by whom?" Her Serene Highness stood. The movement was measured, the kind of movement that ended conversations. She walked to a small cabinet, opened it, and removed a thin folder. She did not hand it to Anna. She held it as if it were too delicate for hopeful hands. "Your mother signed a statement," Her Serene Highness said. "Years ago. Not in court, not publicly. A private record of events. It was sealed." Anna's heart lurched. "She left a statement." Her Serene Highness nodded. She described what she saw, what she refused to assist with, what she feared would happen if she spoke. Anna's throat tightened so hard she could barely speak. "Why did she never tell me?" Her Serene Highness's voice softened again, just a fraction. "Because she wanted you to marry well and live quietly. She believed silence could become safety." Anna swallowed. "It did not." "No," Her Serene Highness agreed. "It did not." Anna's fingers curled. Who had her dismissed? Her Serene Highness hesitated. A senior administrator of the household, long dead. Anna's voice sharpened. "Then why is this happening now?" Her Serene Highness looked at her. "Because the administrator's heirs are alive, and because papers have a way of resurfacing when someone wishes to inherit cleanly." Anna's breath caught. "Inheritance." Her Serene Highness nodded. "There is a committee that oversees charitable disbursements. There are ledgers, there are signatures, and there is a fear that a woman with the right testimony might disturb comfortable arrangements." Anna whispered. "So they pushed my divorce to make me easier to discredit." Her Serene Highness's gaze sharpened. "Or to make you desperate enough to bargain." Anna's hands trembled. "Bargain what?" Her Serene Highness's eyes held hers. "Your silence, your signature, your cooperation." Anna's stomach turned. "I have signed nothing except the divorce," Her Serene Highness said, "and they may try to make you sign more." Anna's throat tightened. "Tonight." "Perhaps," the woman replied. "Or perhaps tonight is meant to frighten you into running." Anna's mouth went dry. "Running where?" Her Serene Highness leaned forward slightly. "To your former husband, to anyone who offers shelter, to anyone who can be influenced." Anna stared, horrified. "Emile would never help me." Her Serene Highness's tone was cool. "He would help himself. And sometimes helping oneself includes controlling the woman one divorced." Anna's cheeks burned with shame and anger. Her Serene Highness closed the folder and set it down with precision. "Now. Prince Leopold's involvement complicates matters." Anna's breath caught. "Because of gossip. Because of power," Her Serene Highness corrected. "Because he will be blamed if you are mishandled. And because he will be mocked if he appears sentimental." Anna's voice went flat. "So I must disappear to protect him." Her Serene Highness studied her. "You are quick." Anna's eyes stung. "I have had practice." Her Serene Highness's gaze hardened briefly, then softened again. "No. You will not disappear, not without a plan. You will be placed under respectable patronage. Your lodging will be arranged with a widow whose virtue is unquestioned. You will be seen in correct contexts, not hidden like a shameful object." Anna's breath caught. "Seen. Yes," the woman said. "Because hiding invites stories. Being seen correctly discourages them." Anna whispered. "I do not have the strength." Her Serene Highness's eyes did not waver. "You have already shown it." Anna's throat tightened. "Why are you helping me?" Her Serene Highness paused long enough for the question to hang. Then she said, "Because I am tired of watching clever men use women's reputations as tools. Because your mother was treated poorly. And because if this matter becomes public in the wrong way, the palace will be embarrassed. I will not allow embarrassment to become chaos." It was not tenderness. It was not warmth. But it was help, offered in the only language the palace trusted. Anna nodded slowly. "What do I do now?" Her Serene Highness spoke with precise instruction. "You will not attend any secret meeting tonight, not without protection. You will not respond to anonymous demands. You will not be lured into a corridor by a sealed letter. Anna's hands tightened on the paper. Then how will I learn the truth? Her Serene Highness lifted her chin. Through proper channels, through documents, through witnesses who can be questioned without melodrama. Anna's voice turned raw. Proper channels did not protect my mother. Her Serene Highness met her gaze without flinching. No, but your mother was alone. Anna's breath caught. Her Serene Highness continued. You are not alone, not if you accept the assistance offered. Anna swallowed. By you. And by Prince Leopold, the woman added, her eyes sharpening. He will not enjoy this, but he will do it correctly if he is wise. Anna's voice came out small. And what do I do about Emile? About the stipend he promised and may refuse? Her Serene Highness's expression tightened. That will be addressed. How? Anna asked. Her Serene Highness said. A solicitor will be appointed, not a palace puppet, a reputable man who understands both law and discretion. Anna blinked. Appointed by whom? Her Serene Highness looked at her as if the question were obvious. By me. Anna's breath caught again. Then Emile will know the palace is watching. Her Serene Highness nodded. Yes. Anna whispered, he will hate me. Her Serene Highness's tone was calm. He will fear misbehavior more than he will hate you. Anna's hands trembled, but relief crept in like warmth she had forgotten. Not because Emile would feel remorse, but because he would be restrained by the very society he worshipped. Her Serene Highness moved toward the door. We are done. Anna stood quickly, then hesitated. Your Serene Highness, may I ask one more thing? The woman paused, hand near the door. Briefly, Anna's throat tightened. Did my mother leave anything for me? Anything I must protect? Her Serene Highness looked at her for a long moment. You likely possess it already. Anna's stomach dropped. A token. Her Serene Highness nodded slightly. Do not show it. Do not mention it to anyone. And do not allow strangers to inspect your belongings no matter how politely they request. Anna swallowed. Understood. Her Serene Highness opened the door. Leopold stood outside exactly as promised, posture composed, eyes alert. His gaze went immediately to Anna's face, searching for distress without making it obvious. Her Serene Highness addressed him, voice controlled. Prince Leopold. Your Serene Highness, Leopold replied, inclining his head. Her Serene Highness looked from him to Anna. This woman will not be treated as entertainment. Leopold's jaw tightened. She will not. Her Serene Highness said, she will be placed under patronage. Her legal matters will be handled discreetly, and she will not attend secret meetings arranged by anonymous letters. Leopold's eyes flicked to Anna. Agreed. Anna's fingers tightened around her reticule strap. She wanted to speak, to say she still had questions, but the room itself seemed to forbid excess. Her Serene Highness's gaze fixed on Leopold. And you will not compromise her further. Leopold's expression did not change, but his voice turned firm. I will not. A small pause. Then Her Serene Highness added, Your concern must remain within the bounds of propriety. Anna felt her cheeks burn, even though the words were not spoken cruelly. They were simply the palace reminding her that tenderness could be punished if it looked like scandal. Leopold nodded once. Yes, Your Serene Highness. The woman's gaze shifted to Anna again. You will be introduced correctly. You will behave correctly. And you will remember that dignity is not silence. It is control. Anna swallowed hard. Yes, Your Serene Highness. Her Serene Highness inclined her head, a dismissal. Go. Leopold stepped slightly aside, and Anna moved with him down the corridor. Her knees felt unsteady, but her spine stayed straight. When they reached the quiet of the suite again, the door closed behind them, and the air seemed to loosen around Anna's throat. She let out a breath she had not realized she was holding. Leopold spoke first. Are you all right? Anna gave a small, humorless laugh. I do not know what that means anymore. Leopold's voice softened. Did she threaten you? Anna shook her head. No, she warned me. She offered help. Leopold's eyes narrowed slightly. In what form? A solicitor, Anna said. Patronage, a plan to keep me from being hidden. Leopold nodded. Good. Anna stared at him. You sound relieved. I am, he admitted, because the palace can be careless with those it considers insignificant. Anna's throat tightened. So I was insignificant. Leopold's gaze held hers. To some. Not to me. The words landed quietly, but they landed. Anna looked down at her hands, then back up. You are still not telling me what you want. Leopold did not flinch. I want you safe, I want you informed. And yes, I want the truth about your mother's involvement to be brought into daylight without destroying you. Anna's voice turned sharp with fatigue. And after that, when the truth is told, what then? Leopold hesitated. The hesitation did not feel like calculation. It felt like honesty weighing itself. Then, he said quietly, I will have done what I believe is right. Anna narrowed her eyes. Only that? Leopold's jaw tightened. No. Anna's heart stuttered. Then what else? Leopold stepped closer by a pace, stopping respectfully. I told you I would not insult you with false confessions, so hear this plainly. I did not expect to care about the manner in which you held yourself today. Anna's breath caught. Leopold continued, voice controlled but lower. I did not expect to feel anger for what was done to you. I did not expect to want to place myself between you and the world's cruelty. Anna's fingers tightened on her reticule. That sounds like pity. Leopold's gaze sharpened. It is not pity. Anna's voice trembled. Then what is it? Leopold held her eyes. The beginning of regard. The word was old-fashioned, careful, and it made Anna's chest ache because it suggested something that could grow without rushing into impropriety. Anna swallowed hard. Regard does not protect a woman. It can, Leopold said, if it becomes action. Anna's breath shook. Action that will be judged. Yes, he replied, and that is why we will move wisely. Anna's voice turned raw. I do not know how to be wise anymore. I only know how to endure. Leopold's tone softened. Then let this be different. Endurance brought you to this door. Wisdom will carry you through it. Anna's eyes stung. She blinked and forced steadiness. Her Serene Highness said I likely already possess a token, something of my mother's. Leopold nodded. Do you? Anna hesitated. There is a small box in my mother's trunk, wrapped in cloth. She told me never to open it without necessity. Leopold's gaze sharpened. And where is the trunk? At Frau Kessler's, Anna said. I left it there when I left Emile's house. Leopold nodded slowly. Then we will retrieve it quietly. Anna stiffened. We? Leopold's voice stayed calm. A maid can be sent, or Frau Kessler herself can bring it under the cover of a respectable visit. Anna's throat tightened. Frau Kessler will be frightened. She will be cautious, Leopold corrected. And caution is useful. Anna let out a slow breath. Her Serene Highness said I must not attend a secret meeting tonight. Leopold nodded. You will not. But the letter said I would be safe only if I remain silent, Anna whispered. Leopold's eyes hardened. Anonymous threats do not define safety. Structure does. Anna's voice cracked. Structure failed me in court. Leopold's reply was immediate. The court followed the law. It did not follow fairness. Now we will use structure to protect you from those who hide behind it. Anna stared at him, trying to believe it. A soft knock came at the door. Frau von Riedel entered with a small card on a tray. Your Highness, she said, Her Serene Highness's office has sent the solicitor's name and instructions for tomorrow. Leopold took the card, read it, and nodded. Thank you. Frau von Riedel's gaze flicked to Anna, softer than before. Madam will be conveyed to her patroness's residence at noon tomorrow. A suitable introduction will be arranged. Anna's breath caught. At noon. Yes, Frau von Riedel said. There will be witnesses. Respectable ones, Anna whispered. So I will be seen. Frau von Riedel inclined her head. Correctly. Leopold looked at Anna. This is the beginning of your re-entry, on your terms. Anna's voice turned small. And tonight? Leopold answered gently. Tonight you rest. Anna shook her head, almost angry at the idea of rest. How can I, when everything is shifting? Leopold's gaze held hers. Because you cannot build a life while your hands shake. Anna pressed her lips together. She wanted to argue, but exhaustion tugged at her like gravity. Frau von Riedel added, Madam's dinner will be brought shortly. Simple, private. Anna murmured, Thank you. Frau von Riedel left. Leopold remained. He did not rush toward the door, and he did not linger as if he wanted something from her. He simply stood there as if making sure the quiet did not become loneliness. Anna lifted her chin. "Will you be punished for this?" Leopold's mouth tightened slightly. "Punished is not the word used in this world." "Then what," Anna asked, "will happen to you?" Leopold's gaze steadied. "I will be discussed." Anna's throat tightened. "And you accept that?" "I accept it," he said, "because I chose it." Anna's breath caught. "You chose it for me." Leopold's voice softened. "I chose it with you in mind, but you have choices now too. Tomorrow, when you are placed under patronage, you may decide how much involvement you will permit from me. You may tell me to step back." Anna stared at him. "Would you?" Leopold did not hesitate. "Yes." Anna's eyes stung again. She looked away quickly, ashamed of how close she was to breaking. Leopold's voice lowered. "Anna." She forced herself to look back. He spoke carefully, as if each word was being set into place with respect. "What happened in the courtroom was not your entire story." Anna's throat tightened. "It feels like it." "It is not," he said. "It was an ending. Now you have a beginning, even if it begins with fear." Anna swallowed hard. "And if the truth about my mother stains me?" Leopold's eyes sharpened. "The stain belongs to those who used her, not to you." Anna whispered, "Vienna will not see it that way." Leopold's tone was quiet but firm. "Then Vienna will learn." Anna held his gaze, and something in her chest shifted. Not certainty, not peace, but a small refusal to be crushed again. She lowered her eyes and spoke with a steadiness she did not fully feel. "Then I will retrieve the trunk, I will find the token, and I will let the solicitor do his work." Leopold nodded once. "Good." Anna drew a slow breath. "And you will keep your promise." "I will not be imprisoned in kindness." Leopold's gaze softened. "I will keep it." Anna's voice came out very quiet. "Then, thank you." Leopold inclined his head, as if accepting gratitude without taking more than was offered. "Rest, Anna. Tomorrow will require your strength." She nodded, and for the first time since the courthouse the word tomorrow did not sound like a threat. Anna woke to a silence that did not feel like punishment. For a moment she lay still and listened for the old dread, the sharp reminder of where she was, the shame waiting like a servant at the door. But what came instead was a quiet knock. "Madam," Frau von Riedel called softly, "your breakfast, and your patroness has arrived below." Anna sat up at once, heart thudding. "Already?" "Yes, madam." She requested promptness. Promptness, respectability, a new set of rules, but at least these rules were meant to hold her upright. When Anna stepped into the corridor, Leopold was already there. He looked as if he had not slept much, and yet he carried himself with the same deliberate calm. "You are ready," he said. Anna's mouth tightened. "I am pretending." "That is often the beginning," Leopold replied. Frau von Riedel walked ahead. "This way." They descended a staircase that seemed designed to quiet footsteps. At the bottom, in a small reception room, a woman rose with composed grace. She was not young, not old. A widow's black suited her without turning her into a shadow. Her eyes were clear, appraising but not cruel. "Frau Kessler?" Anna asked, astonished. The widow gave a small nod. "It is I." Anna's breath caught. "You were here." "I was summoned properly," Frau Kessler said. She turned her gaze to Leopold and curtsied. "Your Highness." Leopold inclined his head. "Frau Kessler." Frau Kessler looked back to Anna. "Child, you have managed to make a great deal of trouble without raising your voice." Anna's lips trembled. "I did not intend to." "I know," Frau Kessler said. Then more quietly, "Come, sit. You look as though you have been carrying stones." Anna sat, hands folded hard in her lap. Frau Kessler's expression softened. "I have agreed to be your patroness for the time being, not as charity, as protection." Anna swallowed. "Why would you do that?" Frau Kessler did not flinch at the directness. "Because I have buried a husband, and I have not buried my spine. Because I do not like how men speak of women when they think no one important is listening. And because someone of influence asked me to." Anna glanced at Leopold. He did not deny it. He simply said, "Your reputation is strong enough to shelter her without harm to yourself." Frau Kessler gave a short, unimpressed sound. My reputation is strong because I do not let fools instruct me. Anna's eyes stung with sudden gratitude. Frau Kessler leaned forward. Now I will speak plainly because plain speech is how one survives. You will live in my house. You will attend certain engagements with me. You will be seen in correct company. And you will not wander alone where the curious can corner you. Anna nodded, throat too tight for words. Frau Kessler continued brisk. Your allowance from Herr Weber will be enforced. There is a solicitor involved. Anna's breath caught. So it is true, Leopold spoke. It is arranged. Anna stared at him. At what cost? Leopold's voice was quiet. Not to you. Frau Kessler waved a hand. Enough. We do not ask a drowning woman to pay for the rope before she climbs out. Anna's voice cracked. I do not want to be a burden. Frau Kessler's gaze sharpened. Then do not behave like one. Behave like a woman who has been wronged and refuses to be flattened by it. Anna swallowed hard. I will try. Frau Kessler rose. Good, now. We fetch your trunk. Anna stiffened. My trunk. Leopold's expression remained calm. Frau Kessler brought it with her this morning. Frau Kessler gestured toward the door. It is in the carriage, discreetly. You are not the only woman in Vienna with baggage, Anna. Anna's breath left her in a shaky exhale. Back in the small suite, the trunk sat by the wall like a sealed memory. Anna knelt before it, fingers hovering over the latch. Leopold remained near the door again, giving space. Frau Kessler folded her arms. Open it, child. Anna's voice came small. My mother told me never to. Frau Kessler replied, Your mother told you that when she was trying to keep wolves from your window. If wolves are already in the room, you do not keep the cupboard locked. Anna's hands trembled. She opened the trunk, folded dresses, linen, a small packet of letters, a sewing kit Anna had watched her mother use until the metal wore smooth. Then the cloth-wrapped box. Anna's fingers tightened around it. This. Leopold's voice lowered. Do not open it, if you are not ready. Anna looked up. I am not ready. And yet I must be. Frau Kessler's tone softened, just a fraction. I will turn away if you wish. Anna shook her head. No, if this concerns my life, I must stop being delicate about it. She set the box on the table and unwrapped the cloth. Inside was not jewelry meant to sparkle. It was a small, plain case, and within it, a token that made Anna's breath catch. A modest brooch, silver rather than gold, but stamped on the back with a crest. Anna's throat tightened. This crest, it is the same as the letter seal. Leopold stepped closer, still not touching the object. His gaze went sharp. Yes. Frau Kessler leaned in, eyes narrowing. That is not a merchant's crest. Anna's voice shook. My mother kept this for me. Leopold spoke quietly. Or she kept it to prove what she could not say aloud. Anna turned the brooch in her trembling fingers. There was a tiny hinge, a hidden compartment. Her breath caught. There is something inside, Frau Kessler said. Open it. Anna's hands fumbled, then found the catch. The compartment opened to reveal a thin folded slip of paper, worn at the edges, kept safe by the metal shell. Anna unfolded it carefully. Numbers, names, a list, a line that read like an instruction. Funds transferred from the endowment to private accounts, witnessed by E.B. Elise Brandt. Anna's eyes blurred. This is my mother's writing. Leopold's voice was steady, but quiet. Then she knew, and she recorded it. Anna pressed the paper to her chest for a moment, as if to keep her mother close. She was afraid, Frau Kessler said. She was brave, Anna whispered. I called her cautious. Frau Kessler's gaze softened. Caution is not weakness. It is strategy when the world is unfair. Leopold's eyes held Anna's. Now you have proof. Anna's voice tightened. Proof that will make men angry. Leopold's reply was calm. Proof that will make men careful. Frau Kessler's mouth tightened. And proof that will make some women pretend they never knew you. Anna swallowed hard. What happens now? Leopold said. Now the solicitor acts. The committee is approached formally. The records are requested. The endowment is audited quietly, without spectacle. Anna's voice rose. Quietly. Leopold's gaze sharpened. Quietly first, so they cannot twist it into gossip about you. Correctness protects truth. Frau Kessler gave a satisfied nod. Good. We do this like proper people, and then we make them choke on their own propriety. Anna almost smiled, and the effort surprised her. That afternoon she left the palace through the same discreet entrance, not hidden, but handled with correct care. She rode in Frau Kessler's carriage, and Vienna outside the window looked the same, yet Anna felt different, still fragile, still frightened, but no longer floating without anchor. At Frau Kessler's home, the first caller arrived within an hour, not to see Anna, to see Frau Kessler, a lady in pale silk, voice sweet with sharpness beneath. She smiled at Anna as if smiling cost her effort. Frau Kessler, the lady said, how admirable of you to take on such a delicate matter. Frau Kessler's response was smooth. I do not find women delicate, only society's nerves. The lady's smile tightened. We all wish to be helpful. Frau Kessler nodded toward a chair. Then be helpful. Sit and speak honestly. The lady did not sit. I merely wish to say, Anna dear, I hope you will keep a low profile for some time. Anna held her gaze. Why? The lady blinked, as if unused to being questioned. For your own peace. Anna's voice was calm. Peace is not the same as invisibility. Frau Kessler's eyes glinted. And invisibility tends to serve those who enjoy using people without consequence. The lady's cheeks colored. No one is using anyone. Anna's fingers tightened on her teacup. Are you certain? The lady's gaze darted toward Leopold, who stood near the mantel as if he had merely dropped by for polite conversation. His presence did what Leopold had promised. It discouraged boldness. The lady curtsied quickly. Your Highness. Leopold inclined his head. Madam. The lady's voice grew careful. Of course, Your Highness. I meant no offense. Only concern. Leopold's tone remained even. Concern that requires silence is not concern. It is control. The lady stiffened. Your Highness, surely... Frau Kessler cut in sweetly. Surely we have all said enough for one visit. The lady left soon after, face composed, eyes sharp. When the door closed, Anna let out a breath she had not realized she was holding. Frau Kessler turned to her. That was an early test. Anna's voice came low. Will there be many? Frau Kessler nodded. As many as there are people who fear a woman who will not fold. Anna's hands shook slightly. I am still learning how not to fold. Leopold spoke gently. You did well. Anna looked at him. Because I did not apologize. Leopold's gaze softened. Because you spoke without begging permission to exist. The next days moved with a briskness that did not allow Anna to collapse into fear. The solicitor came, a dry man with kind eyes and a firm voice. He asked for the brooch, the paper, the letter. Anna refused to surrender them directly until Frau Kessler nodded that the man was trustworthy. He bowed slightly to Anna. Madam, I will treat your mother's proof as if it were a royal document. Anna's voice was quiet. Treat it as if it were a mother's last defense. The solicitor's expression softened. Yes, madam. The stipend issue with Emile was resolved with swiftness. A letter arrived from Emile, phrased politely as if he were granting her a favor. The solicitor laughed softly when he read it. He is frightened, the man said. Fright makes men generous. Anna's throat tightened. He wrote that I may retrieve certain personal items from the house. Frau Kessler snorted. How benevolent. Anna's hands trembled. I do not want to see him. Leopold said, You will not. A maid will go with a written list. It will be handled. Handled. The word no longer felt like a threat. Then came the invitation. A charity event hosted under imperial approval. Correct society. Correct purpose. Correct opportunity for everyone to pretend they had hearts. Anna read the card twice, then looked up at Frau Kessler. Do I have to go? Frau Kessler's gaze was steady. If you want the city to stop treating you like a whispered caution, you must be seen as a person. Anna's voice was small. I am tired, Frau Kessler replied. So am I. And yet we dress, and we attend, and we teach them manners. Anna's eyes flicked to Leopold. Will you be there? Leopold's answer was immediate. Yes. That night, the event did not feel like a celebration. It felt like a trial with music. Anna walked in at Frau Kessler's side. People turned. Not dramatically, just enough for Anna to feel each glance like a fingertip against her skin. She kept her shoulders back. She kept her face composed. She did not scan the room like prey. Frau Kessler murmured, "If anyone looks at you as if you are an offense, look at them as if they are unfinished homework." Anna almost smiled. "That is unkind." Frau Kessler's voice was sweet. "It is educational." They had not taken 5 steps before Anna heard it. "Anna." A voice she knew, a voice that had once invited her to tea, then slowly stopped inviting her when Emile's mood turned cold. Anna turned and saw Clara Merton, cheeks rosy, eyes bright with the satisfaction of being safely married. Clara approached with a practiced smile. "How surprising." Frau Kessler's tone was smooth. "Not surprising. Correct." Clara's gaze slid over Anna's gown as if searching for proof of decline. "I had heard you were resting." Anna's voice was calm. "I am living." Clara blinked. "Of course. I meant only, this must be so difficult for you." Anna held her gaze. "Difficult is being married to someone who enjoys making you small." Clara's smile tightened. "Anna, really?" Frau Kessler lifted a brow. "Really?" Clara's eyes darted. "There is no need to speak so plainly." Anna's voice stayed even. "Plain speech is a relief." Clara's mouth tightened. "You always were stubborn." Anna nodded. "And yet I spent years trying not to be." Clara's voice softened as if offering charity. "You must understand society has rules." Anna's gaze held hers. "Society has preferences. Rules are meant to be fair." Clara's cheeks colored. "You sound embittered." Anna's chest tightened and she forced her voice into steadiness. "No, I sound awake." Clara's smile grew thin. "Be careful, Anna. People will say you are ungrateful, that you are making trouble." Frau Kessler stepped half a pace forward. "My dear, people say whatever keeps them comfortable. The question is whether Anna will shape her life by their comfort." Clara's eyes flicked past Anna's shoulder. "And what does His Highness think of this boldness?" Anna felt heat rise in her cheeks before she turned. Leopold stood a short distance away, speaking with a gentleman, but his attention was already on Anna. He excused himself with a polite nod and approached. Clara curtsied quickly. "Your Highness." Leopold inclined his head. "Madam." Clara's voice turned delicate. "I was just expressing concern. Anna has always been spirited." Leopold's gaze was calm. "Spirited women often survive what gentle women cannot." Clara stiffened. "That is an unusual statement." Leopold's tone remained courteous. "Truth is sometimes unusual in polite rooms." Anna's throat tightened. She forced herself to speak before emotion could take her voice. "Clara, I wish you well. But I will not be instructed to be ashamed." Clara's smile faltered. "Anna." Anna held her gaze. "I will not be a lesson to other women. I will be a person." Clara's eyes flashed with something sharp. "And you think the palace will allow you to be a person?" Leopold's voice was gentle but firm. "The palace is not a single mouth, madam, and some of us are tired of hearing only the cruel ones." Clara curtsied again, too quickly. "I see." Frau Kessler's voice stayed sweet. "Do you?" Clara withdrew, smile reassembled, but eyes unsettled. Anna's breath came out in a shaky exhale. Leopold spoke softly. "Are you all right?" Anna's voice was low. "I did not tremble." Leopold's gaze warmed. "No, you did not." Frau Kessler murmured. "Go on, stand up straight. Let them learn that a divorced woman does not evaporate." Anna nodded. As the evening progressed, Anna felt the room's attention shift, less hungry, more cautious. Whispers still moved, but now they collided with the fact of her composure, her correct presence, her patroness, the prince's steady nearness. Later, a small commotion rippled near the dais where announcements were made. A gentleman from the charitable committee stood with papers in hand, face tight with the strain of smiling. He cleared his throat. "Ladies and gentlemen, a brief announcement. Certain endowment records will be reviewed to ensure the continued integrity of our charitable mission." A polite applause followed, uncertain and carefully measured. Anna's breath caught. Leopold's gaze flicked to her for a moment and she understood. It had begun. Not with scandal, with procedure. Frau Kessler leaned toward Anna's ear. "They are frightened." Anna whispered, I am frightened too, Frau Kessler replied. Yes, but you are not hiding. As the crowd drifted toward music and polite conversation, Leopold guided Anna and Frau Kessler toward a quieter corridor near a small conservatory. Not isolated, still proper, but less crowded. Anna's hands trembled slightly as she accepted a glass of water. Leopold watched her with quiet attention. You did something difficult tonight. Anna's voice was tight. I existed. Leopold's gaze held hers. That is sometimes the hardest thing. Frau Kessler, sensing something, cleared her throat and gave Anna a pointed look. I must speak with the hostess. I will return shortly. Anna's eyes widened. Frau Kessler? Frau Kessler smiled, sharp and affectionate. Do not cling to me, child. Stand on your own, that is the point. Then she walked away with deliberate calm, leaving Anna alone with Leopold, though still within earshot of the world. Anna's fingers tightened around her glass. You arranged the committee announcement. Leopold nodded. Through proper channels. Anna's voice trembled, and Her Serene Highness helped. Yes, Leopold said. Anna's throat tightened. So the truth will come out. Leopold's gaze was steady. It will. Anna swallowed. And what will happen to me when it does? Leopold stepped a fraction closer, respectful, careful. You will be recognized as a woman whose mother was wronged, not as a woman who should be silenced. Anna's breath caught. Recognized by whom? Vienna? Leopold's mouth softened. By those who matter. Anna laughed softly, a sound that held no humor. Everyone matters when they are the ones deciding whether to open doors for you. Leopold's gaze sharpened. Then we will make sure doors open. Anna turned her face away, fighting the sting in her eyes. You keep speaking as if you are part of my future. Leopold's voice lowered. I would like to be. Anna faced him quickly, startled by the plainness. Leopold held her gaze. Anna, I have kept within the bounds demanded of me. I have spoken carefully. I have done what is correct. Anna's voice came out small. And now? Leopold inhaled slowly, as if steadying himself. Now I will speak honestly. Anna's heart thudded hard. Do. Leopold's eyes did not leave hers. When I watched you in that courtroom, I expected to feel duty. I did. But I also felt something I did not anticipate. Respect first. Then a growing insistence that you should not walk alone through cruelty. Anna's fingers trembled. You said that before. I meant it then, he said. I mean more now. Anna swallowed. More. Leopold's voice softened. I find myself watching for your expression in a room, listening for your voice, measuring my day by whether you have been treated fairly. Anna's throat tightened. That is dangerous. Yes, he replied simply. It is. Anna's breath shook. Why tell me? Leopold's gaze held hers with a steadiness that felt like a hand offered in darkness. Because you deserve a choice based on truth, not on rumor, not on obligation. Anna's voice was barely audible. And what is the choice? Leopold paused, then reached into his inner pocket. Anna's whole body tensed absurdly, as if the gesture might pull the ground out from under her. He withdrew not a jewel, not some grand flourish, but a small case. He did not open it at once. He held it, careful. I will not offend you with spectacle. I will not speak as if I can purchase you with a title. Anna's eyes stung. Then do not. Leopold nodded. I will speak as a man who has come to admire your courage, as a man who wants you beside him, not behind him. Anna's breath caught. He opened the case. Inside was a ring, simple and fine, not ostentatious, chosen with restraint. Anna's voice trembled. Your Highness, Leopold cut in gently. Leopold, when we are alone. Anna stared at the ring as if it were a door she had not dared to imagine. Leopold's voice remained quiet. Anna, will you marry me? The question landed without thunder, without fanfare, and yet it shook her. Anna's mouth went dry. You cannot mean that. I do, Leopold said. Anna's hands trembled. Why? A prince does not marry a divorced woman without consequence. Leopold's gaze sharpened. I am aware. Anna's voice cracked. And the palace? Leopold's mouth tightened. Some will object. Some will whisper. Some will pretend it is a charitable gesture to soothe their own discomfort. Anna whispered, And is it? Leopold's eyes held hers, unwavering. No. Anna's throat tightened. Then, what is it? Leopold's voice turned warmer, still controlled. It is a vow I want to make because you have moved me, because you have not tried to charm me into saving you. You have insisted on your dignity, even when it hurt. Anna's breath shook. Love must be grand in stories. Leopold's gaze softened. Love is often quiet at first. It is watching a woman lift her chin when the world tells her to bow. It is wanting to be the place she can rest without fear. Anna stared, tears finally threatening. Not from shame now, but from something tender and terrifying. But, Leopold added, careful, I will not ask you to accept if it would steal your freedom again. Anna's voice came out raw. Marriage stole my freedom once. Leopold nodded. Then set your terms. Anna blinked. My terms. Yes, Leopold said. I will hear them. Anna's hands shook as she tried to find words worthy of her own survival. I will not be hidden, she said. Not as a scandal, not as an ornament, not as a secret. Leopold's answer was immediate. You will not be hidden. I will not be commanded to smile while being diminished, Anna continued, voice gaining strength. If we stand together, we stand as equals in dignity, even if titles are unequal. Leopold's gaze warmed. Agreed. Anna swallowed hard. And I will not be made small again. Not by your household, not by your relatives, not by your world. Leopold's jaw tightened with conviction. Then I will spend my life making sure you are not. Anna's eyes overflowed at last. She lowered her head quickly, ashamed of tears even now. Leopold did not touch her without permission. He simply waited. Anna inhaled, steadying herself, and lifted her gaze again. And I will not marry you to be rescued, she whispered. If I marry you, it will be because I choose you. Leopold's voice softened. Then choose. Anna looked at the ring again. She thought of the courthouse stamp, the whispers, the loneliness, her mother's hidden paper, held close by a brooch like a heartbeat protected under metal. She thought of Frau Kessler's blunt kindness, of her Serene Highness's cold mercy, of Leopold's steady refusal to let her be treated like entertainment. Anna let out a shaky breath and said clearly, yes. Leopold's expression shifted in a way that made Anna's chest ache. Relief, joy held back by manners, a softness that did not ask for permission. Yes, he repeated, as if he needed to hear it again. Yes, Anna said, and her voice steadied. But understand me, I do not belong to you. I will walk beside you. Leopold's gaze was bright, with something close to wonder. That is exactly what I want. He lifted the ring, pausing. May I? Anna extended her hand, palm slightly up, her fingers still trembling. Leopold slid the ring on with a gentleness that felt like reverence, not ownership. Anna stared at it. Breath caught. Leopold's voice was low. Anna. She looked up. He did not kiss her. Not there. Not in a corridor where propriety could be sharpened into a weapon against her. Instead, he took her gloved hand and brought it briefly to his chest, over his heart. A gesture so restrained it was almost formal, and yet it made her feel seen in a way no spectacle could. I will do this properly, Leopold said. I will speak to Her Serene Highness. I will speak to the necessary people. We will marry with dignity. Anna's voice trembled. And if they refuse you? Leopold's gaze hardened slightly. They do not refuse me. They argue, they complain, they attempt to instruct, but they do not refuse. Anna let out a breath that was half a laugh, half disbelief. You are used to winning. Leopold's mouth softened. Not in the ways that matter. Anna's eyes stung again. You will be talked about. Leopold nodded. Yes, and I will be judged, Anna whispered. Leopold's gaze held hers. Yes. Anna's voice turned fierce, surprising even herself. Then let them judge. I have been judged while doing nothing wrong. I may as well be judged while living. A faint smile touched Leopold's mouth. There you are. Anna blinked. There I am. Frau Kessler returned just then, eyes sharp, taking in the scene in one glance. Anna's face, Leopold's calm joy, the subtle change in Anna's posture as if a new spine had been placed inside her. Frau Kessler lifted her brows. I leave for 5 minutes. Anna's cheeks flushed. Frau Kessler, Frau Kessler stepped closer and looked at Anna's hand. Is that what I think it is? Anna nodded, tears threatening again. Yes. Frau Kessler's mouth trembled for a moment before it steadied. Well, Vienna will choke. Leopold's tone was calm. Vienna will adapt. Frau Kessler looked at Leopold. Do not ruin her with kindness that turns into rules. Leopold's gaze was steady. I will not. Frau Kessler looked back to Anna, voice softening. Do you want this child? Anna answered without hesitation. Yes, I do. Frau Kessler exhaled slowly, then nodded. Then we proceed correctly, and we do not apologize. Leopold said, Thank you. Frau Kessler waved a hand. Thank me by giving her peace. The committee matter unfolded exactly as Leopold promised, without spectacle but with undeniable weight. The records were reviewed. Funds were restored to their proper purpose. Quiet resignations occurred. Correct faces made correct apologies that never quite became personal. Anna did not need to shout. The papers did the shouting for her. The day Leopold announced the engagement formally, the whispers came as expected. Some sweet, some sharp. But under Frau Kessler's patronage and the palace's controlled handling, the whispers could not become a public tearing. And then, on a bright morning that did not feel like a performance, Anna stood beside Leopold in a small chapel, with witnesses chosen for decency rather than curiosity. When Leopold took her hand, his fingers were steady. When Anna spoke her vows, her voice did not shake. Afterward, when they stood together in the quiet room where they would receive congratulations, Her Serene Highness appeared briefly. She looked at Anna with an expression that did not quite become warmth, but did become approval. You have behaved correctly, Her Serene Highness said. Anna met her gaze. So have you, Your Serene Highness. A pause. Then the woman gave a small nod, as if acknowledging courage without naming it. Frau Kessler squeezed Anna's hand hard enough to be felt through the glove. Now, go. Be happy. And let them learn something. Later, when the guests had drifted away and the air finally belonged to Anna again, she stood with Leopold near a window, looking out at a city that had once felt like an enemy. Leopold spoke softly. Do you regret it? Anna turned her face toward him. No. Leopold's gaze searched hers. Not even the cost. Anna lifted her chin. The cost was paid long before you offered me a carriage. I was already paying it in silence. Leopold's voice lowered. And now? Anna glanced at her ring, then met his eyes. Now I pay with honesty. And I receive something I did not think I deserved. Leopold's mouth softened. You deserved it. You simply were not given it. Anna inhaled slowly. Leopold, yes? She hesitated, then spoke with quiet certainty. Promise me something. His gaze held hers. Name it. Anna's voice was steady. If I ever begin to shrink again, you will not praise my quietness. You will ask why. Leopold's expression turned serious. I promise. Anna's throat tightened. And if you ever feel trapped by your world, you will not turn cold. You will speak to me. Leopold nodded. I promise. Anna exhaled, the breath trembling, then laughed softly, surprised at herself. Leopold's eyes warmed. What is it? Anna shook her head, smiling through the last of her tears. It is strange. I walked out of a courtroom thinking my life had ended, and now I feel as if it has finally begun. Leopold's voice was low, tender, without excess. Because humiliation is not the end of a story. It is often the beginning of truth. Anna reached for his hand, this time without fear. Then let us live truthfully. Leopold's fingers closed around hers. Together. And Vienna, with all its rules and whispers, could do what it always did. It could observe. It could murmur. It could pretend to understand. But Anna no longer needed its permission to breathe, and as she stepped forward beside the man she had chosen, she carried a quiet message that outlasted every rumor. A person can lose a name, a home, and a future they thought was certain, and still find a life built not on shame but on dignity, love, and the courage to begin again. Thank you so much for listening to this story all the way to the end. We hope it moved you as much as it moved us while telling it. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave us a comment telling us where you're listening from and what you liked the most. Rate this story from 0 to 10. What score would you give it? If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like as a show of support. That really motivates us to keep creating and sharing more stories full of emotion and life lessons. And before we go, we want to remind you that an exciting and heartwarming story recommendation will appear on the final screen. If you'd like to enjoy it, just click on the video. Thank you once again for being here, and we'll see you in the next story.